Welcome in Aries and Aries placements. This is your beginning to mid-August 2026 reading. So this reading is intended for the period of August 1st through the 15th. And it is for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements. All right, so we are going to get a couple oracles here and then get into tarot. As always, with these collective readings, please take what resonates for you and leave what doesn't for someone else. If you're feeling that it resonates with roles being reversed, please do so. And if you're finding that it's not resonating with you, please check another placement. All right. So let's get into it here. Archangel Michael, Holy Spirit, Holy Angels, what do you have for Aries and Aries placements for the period of August 1st through the 15th, 2026? What is the energy? What do we need to know? Okay. Okay, so we've got guarded, past trauma, building up walls, defensive, and blocked heart chakra. Okay. And we have reminiscing, looking at photos, good times, thinking about you, and dwelling. Okay. All right. What is the overall energy, Spirit, for Aries and Aries placements from August 1st through the 15th, please? What is the overall energy? What do they need to know? Okay, we've got the Three of Wands. Okay, we've got the Chariot. Okay, we have the Five of Wands, the King of Wands, and the Ten of Pentacles. At the bottom is the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so it looks like, you're basically looking toward the future here. Okay, there could be something as far as distance between you and another person. Okay, so it could be physical distance, it could be emotional or energetic distance, it could be a combination. But I do sense that there is some sort of distance here between you and another person. But I do feel that, you have been looking toward the future. And, I feel like when you thought about the future, you thought your future was including this person. Okay. Now, I do feel like this person that you've been dealing with, male or female, doesn't matter the gender, is showing up as the King of Wands. Okay. And in this energy, with what, the cards are showing me and the energy I'm feeling, I am feeling that this version of the King of Wands is more of the inconsistent, non-committal type energy. I'm feeling like maybe this person, might deep down want to keep their options open, or they're leaning toward that. I feel like, maybe part of them wants commitment, but part of them feels that probably because of wounding, that they, might want to or need to keep their options open. So maybe this person has a wandering eye, maybe this person, flirts with a lot of people for attention, or they do that to see if other people might be interested. Okay. But I feel like this is the energy that you've been dealing with, that this person might be fueled by passion. So it could be like, schmegzual type energy. And so if they get, any kind of schmegzual type attention from another person that they feel that they're attracted to, then that's something that could cause a problem here. So I don't know if that has happened or if that's just the energy that I'm feeling. Okay. But I feel like, you felt that this person was part of your future, at least at some point, and you were wanting to move toward the future. Maybe things were progressing at some point, and then maybe things kind of stopped. The Chariot could be an energy of forward movement, forward progression. So I feel like with these two cards coming out together that, you were looking toward the future. Maybe you talked about the future with this person. Maybe you all talked about how things were progressing, or, where this relationship was going, this connection was going. Okay. And I really do feel like you felt that this person was part of your future, and you really were trying to move things forward with them. But also, these two cards can also represent distance. Okay, so I do feel that there is some sort of distance here between you and whoever this person is. And it could be, like I said, it could be any of those types of distance. It could also be distance as far as, maybe values. It could be distance as far as, you know, um, beliefs in about relationships or about life, maybe not aligning. Okay, just not being on the same page. And so I feel like there could have been, and most likely there has been, arguments between you and this person. Maybe there's been a lot of conflict. I feel like this person maybe brought drama into your life that maybe you didn't want. Okay. And I feel that also this person could have, put you in some sort of competition here. And whatever these external party or parties were, because it could be an actual person or people, it could also be an actual thing like work or hobbies or, children. It could be anything that they put you in competition with. They did not give you 100% of their energy because they were possibly giving to something else, and they, put that over you. Okay. So there was something here, or is something that is saying that there is some sort of external party or parties that either are involved or were involved, and that could have contributed to this distance. Maybe things were progressing, and then all of a sudden, these external things, started getting in the way, these obstacles. And like I said, it's due to this person being in this King of Wands energy. Okay. I also feel it's very possible that this person could have basically gained a larger ego than what they already had because of having you in their life. I feel like there's something about you and maybe your energy. Maybe this person doesn't feel like they deserve you. And by you, giving them a chance, by you allowing them in your life, this person felt like they were on top of the world. And, sometimes when people get in that energy, they feel like, they're entitled to have whatever they want. And they have this, huge ego. So whether this person had that before they met you, and then and then it became more apparent, or it's something that developed while they were with you, I'm sensing something about an ego here. Okay. Now I do feel that either you have or had a family with this person. It could also be that you were hoping to have the 10 of Pentacles with this person, so that sense of stability, security, family, financial abundance, the person you want to grow old with, because like I said, with the Three of Wands and the Chariot, I feel like you were looking toward the future and you felt like things were moving that way. And then I almost feel like something kind of stopped. And so I feel like, whether you had this with this person already and you felt that this was your end game, or, maybe you were working toward that, I do feel that this was something significant for you, this connection. Okay. Now, I also am feeling for at least some of you out there that maybe this person had already the 10 of Pentacles with someone else. And maybe they kept that from you. But we'll have to see what else comes out. I am getting that feeling here. So it is possible with the Five of Wands being here, as far as like maybe an external situation or external person or people, that maybe this person had a family situation or a long-term connection already with someone else, and that was something that they hid from you. Okay. So with the Queen of Pentacles being here at the bottom of the deck, and male or female, doesn't matter your gender, I feel like this person sees you as very stable and secure. They see you loving, nurturing, and caring. You're grounded in reality, and you know your value and you know your worth. They know that you will stand your ground. Okay. And I feel like, maybe this person understands that they could have the 10 of Pentacles with you. Like I said, whether you have already had this with this person or if that's something you both were talking about and moving toward. Okay. But, this person definitely sees you that way. All right. So as far as signs so far, we've got Earth, we've got fire, and then we've got Cancer energy as well. My cat does not want to let my hand go. Okay. We were holding hands. All right. So Spirit, what is the potential difficulties or challenges? What are the potential difficulties and challenges for Aries and Aries placements? August 1st through the 15th, please. Okay. We've got the 8 of Pentacles, the Queen of Wands. I was feeling that Queen of Wands. Okay. The 6 of Swords, the Page of Wands, and the Ace of Wands. A lot of wands here, but then again, you're a fire sign too. So we've got the 7 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck here. Okay. So as far as the potential difficulties or challenges you might be facing, with the 8 of Pentacles being here, for some of you, maybe you work with this person. Okay. So if that's the case, if there are issues that you all are facing, maybe you're in no contact, minimal contact, something like that. It might be difficult going to work every day. Okay. Now with the 8 of Pentacles as well, I'm feeling like, part of you really wants to work on things with this person. You don't want to just give up, especially when, you saw a future with this person, you were moving toward a future, and, now things have changed. So to just give up on that, it's difficult, but also feeling like, can we work things out? Can things be worked on? That might feel like an uphill battle to you. Okay. With the Queen of Wands being here, again, I'm feeling that this could definitely been a third party situation. Now, whether this person made you a third party or whether this person had a third party behind your back, whatever you resonate with, there is something here that is talking about a third party influence. Okay. And so I feel like whether this other party has, gone, and been cut out of this person's life, whether that is the case or not, I feel like the fact that there was somebody or something that this person put ahead of you or made you feel in competition with, it's almost like, well, if this person did it once, how do I know it won't happen again? How do I know that this person or this thing will not be put in front of me again or ahead of me? You know? So I feel also like there is a lack of trust here because of whatever happened. Okay, so with the Queen of Wands being here, I feel like, it's very difficult for you. Now, I'm also getting the energy from the Queen of Wands because the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands technically are a matched pair. So again, I feel like either this was your person and you were in a actual relationship with them, or this person, made you or tried to make you a third party behind someone else's back. But, and, like I was saying earlier, male or female doesn't matter the gender. I feel like you all are, maybe trying to embody this Queen of Wands energy where, similarly to the Queen of Pentacles, you know your value and you know your worth. Deep down, you know this. You know what you bring to the table here. You know that you are a catch. You know that you're charismatic and charming. Okay. And you know that you can make things happen for yourself. But to remind yourself of all of those things and to remain in that energy where, you won't settle for less, especially when you feel that this was your person, that, you know, um, how could they have treated me this way? I really do, want to work on things because I don't want to let them go. It's almost like, contradicting, And so embodying or reminding yourself to embody the positive aspects of the Queen of Wands, that might be difficult for you as well. Okay. So with the Six of Swords being here as well, I feel like, you really do want to move on to more peaceful times and calmer waters here, just in general. Now, I feel that deep down, you really want to move on to calmer waters with this person. Okay. But I feel like maybe you're questioning that. And, is it even possible at this point? On this card, and I don't always get the feeling from this card, from this deck necessarily when it's pulled. I'm trying to get it so there's not a glare here. But the person back here is already rowing away onto those calmer waters, and that's you. And then this person, whoever you've been dealing with, they're basically still on shore. They haven't gotten into their boat yet, it doesn't look like. I mean, they could be, but I feel like, they're looking back because they haven't yet set out behind you, and they're definitely not in the boat with you, and they've got a smirk on their face. So it's almost like this person would do whatever is necessary to have you believe that things are going to be more calm and peaceful, but that might just be something that they're trying to maybe even manipulate you about because they want to get to a better place with you. Okay. um so your feelings might be valid here as far as, can we even move things into a more calm and peaceful place? With the Page of Wands, you might have children with this person, so that might be something posing a challenge. But I also feel that communication might be challenging as well because, if things are no contact or minimal contact, where maybe, when things ended with this person, with the Five of Wands, they could have ended with a significant argument. Okay. So the Page of Wands is not just communication, but it's like lighthearted and potentially even, flirtatious. And to have like a lighthearted conversation when things seem so heavy, it almost seems inappropriate, you know? Um, like I said as well, if there's minimal contact or no contact here, then just a conversation or communication in general might be challenging. And with the page, being here, this person could also be younger or immature, and that might be something as well that is being taken into account, and that's been affecting either the communication, this connection. It could be just their mentality of their life and their behavior. Okay, so that might be something as well. I'm also getting with the Page of Wands that it is possible that maybe the communication that this person has with other people is a little too flirtatious, is a little too, King or Knight of Wands ish. Okay, so that might be posing a problem as well. We do have the Ace of Wands here. So I do feel that there is significant physical attraction between you and this person. I do feel that the chemistry is very intense, and that sense of intimacy is something that maybe you've never felt this way about another person, so it's difficult to let that go. Or maybe you have had potential issues with this person in the past, but you've always been able to make up, and you've kind of had that make up intimate time. So there's something here though about letting this person go when you had that, had and have that physical attraction, that magnetic attraction to this person, where it's just hard to just sever that. Okay. I'm also feeling with the Ace of Wands, the idea of having that physical chemistry and intimacy with someone else and moving on from this person seems like something that you don't even want to think about right now. Okay, because you're still attached to this person. On the bottom of the deck we have the Seven of Pentacles, which talks about energy, investment, time. So maybe you have been in a connection with this person or a relationship with this person for a significant amount of time. Maybe this person, so they're obviously not someone new. And I feel like, you've invested enough into this connection and this person that it's just difficult to just let that go. Maybe you have shared assets or something here, but I do feel that, like I said, time, energy, and investment has been significant here. Okay. So additional signs. Let's see here. Now we've got air energy, but it's mostly fire and earth. So a lot of passion, a lot of, well, not, I mean, significant amounts of earth. It's mostly fire though. Okay. All right, Spirit. So what is the guidance and advice for Aries and Aries placements in this situation? What do you have as far as guidance, as far as advice? Let's see here. Okay, so we have the Page of Pentacles. I'm going to put them on top here because of the cat being here. We have the High Priestess, the Ace of Cups, the Queen of Swords. Anything else? Sorry, honey, okay? Didn't mean to scare you. Okay, and then we also have the Knight of Wands and the Nine of Swords that came out together. Okay, and at the bottom of the deck is the Eight of Swords. Okay. All right. So with the Page of Pentacles being here as part of the advice, Spirit is saying that to get past this, a conversation is needed. Okay. So whether it's to make amends and move on together or to move in separate directions, I feel like there is a conversation that is needed. Okay. If you do have children, I also feel that Spirit is saying that maybe the guidance is to focus on, your child or children. But I do get a sense that, this person will be most likely reaching out to you with the Page of Pentacles. They might even be giving you a gift, a small gift, something sentimental possibly, and that they are looking to have a conversation. Okay, so be aware that that might be coming your way. All right. Now you might be intuitively feeling that this might be coming. Okay. I also feel with the High Priestess, especially when this, shows up in the advice and the guidance, that Spirit ultimately, no matter what tarot readings tell you or anything else, follow your intuition. Okay. If your intuition is telling you that, you know, talking this out with this person is going to help you both move forward in whatever way that leads to, then absolutely talk with this person. You know, um, ultimately follow your intuition here in this situation. Okay. With the Ace of Cups being here, I feel like Spirit is saying that there is a new cycle that is available to you. Okay, just make sure that whatever this is for you, whether it's with this person or without them, that it's something that is true to your heart. Okay, so do what is best for your heart, do what is best as far as what your intuition is telling you. Okay, but you do have a new opportunity for, like I said, a new beginning here, and it could be with this person, it could be somewhere else. Okay. With the Queen of Swords, and again, male or female, doesn't matter. I feel like Spirit wants you to remain and try to embody this Queen of Swords energy. Okay. You've already showed up as the Queen of Pentacles and potentially the Queen of Wands, where you have already been embodying that sense of stability and security, that sense of being grounded, being loving and nurturing and knowing your value and your worth. But Spirit is wanting you to basically not make a decision here based on your emotions. If you can, try to be in Swords energy and try to make these decisions based on logic and staying in your rational mind. What is best for you logically and rationally? If I take my emotions out of this, is this the best path for me? Okay. So between that and, following your intuition here with the High Priestess, I feel like that is what will bring you to what the path that is best for you. And only you know what that is. Okay. The Queen of Swords is also an energy who has no problem cutting people or things out of their life who or that no longer serve them. So Spirit wants you to be able to understand that if you've intuitively decided in your heart and in your soul that this is not correct and this is not right for you, at least right now, maybe this person would be right for you in the future. Maybe they'll change and grow and transform. No, who knows? Nobody knows that, right? But as for right now, is this person right for you? Logically and rationally. Okay? Because Spirit does want to remind you that this person, has been in Knight of Wands energy. And I felt this energy, we had the Page of Wands show up and the King of Wands. Now we've got the middle man, the middle person. Because it's not, man or woman, it doesn't matter. It's the middle person, is the Knight of Wands. And yes, this is that energy of inconsistency, being non-committal, wanting to keep their options open, you know, feeling like they just want to come in for a good time, not for a long time. And they might deep down want, like I was saying earlier, want that commitment. But there's something in them, there's a wounding that needs to be healed because they are basically guarded toward that sense of commitment. Okay? They have a blocked heart chakra and they're guarded because of past trauma, past wounding, and they have these walls put up, and that's why they're in this energy. Okay? And Spirit wants to remind you that because this person has been in that energy, it has most likely brought you a lot of anxiety. Okay? So, try to stay, like I said, in that Queen of Swords energy, and just remember that this person has been in Wands energy. They're showing up as the Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, and the King of Wands. So they're fueled by passion. They're fueled by potentially like schmegel type energy here. And I feel like it's caused you anxiety in the past. I mean, there's the potential that maybe it is current for you, but in the past, I feel for a lot of you, you've been under an extreme amount of anxiety here because of this person. This person has put you through a lot. It's almost like, you wake up in the morning and it's the anxiety's back and it's all day long and then you can't sleep at night. Okay. So Spirit wants you to basically remember what this person has put you through, and just make sure that intuitively that you feel that if you want to reconcile, that this is right for you. Okay. Because I have a feeling that when this person comes in and maybe brings this communication, that they're going to bring up all of the good times that you both had with one another, and they're going to pull on your heartstrings somehow. And I feel that is, again, why this person needs to be shown that you are the Queen of Swords here, and that Spirit wants you to embody this energy. Because if they're going to pull at your heartstrings, you might need to put a little bit of walls around your heart chakra. Okay. And just remember that deep down, this is still their energy. And, if you do decide to move forward with this person, I feel like Spirit wants you to, I'm getting the message, to not just take their words for it, but make sure to take things slow so that they can show you with their actions that they are not in this Knight of Wands energy any longer. Because even if they were the Knight of Wands prior to now, and maybe, they're showing up as the King of Wands right now. I mean, yeah, they've progressed from a knight to a king, but there's not a whole lot of difference between the Knight of Wands and the King of Wands. So there is still the potential to have the same challenges and difficulties that you'd had before. Okay. All right, Aries. Well, I'm going to leave this reading here. I hope it helped. I hope it brought you some information and some clarity. If you do feel like it resonates with you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And until next time, take care and namaste.